I have a confession. I went to see Boss Baby. Hey guys, how are you? Yep, I went to see Boss Baby. This movie is about a baby that turns up in a taxi cab to a family, and I guess the mother was pregnant. We don't really get to know exactly. She asks the older brother whether he wants a baby brother, and he's like, well, not really, but the baby turns up in a taxi, and I guess he was made in some sort of factory. At the beginning of the movie we see a big montage of the babies all being put into a production line, and some going to a family, and then some going into management. So the Boss Baby turns up at the house in a taxi cab, and he walks to the house, rings the doorbell, and Boss Baby is voiced by Alec Baldwin. One of the good things about this movie, Alec Baldwin is absolutely fantastic. I love his work, and that is one of the pluses for the movie. The movie is told from the perspective of the older brother, and we get Tobey Maguire doing a narration, a voiceover, so I guess he's the older version of this kid. So the older brother essentially doesn't want the Boss Baby in the house, or the baby in the house, because he's taking away all of the attention that he would normally get himself. He feels left out, he doesn't get as much time with his parents, so he wants the baby gone. When he realises that the Boss Baby can actually talk, they team up and work together to try and get through Boss Baby's mission, so he can go back to Baby Corp, the place where he comes from, the place where he's one of the management, and he can go away and no one will even know he's ever been in the house. Tim, the older brother, has an active imagination, and one minute he's a pirate, the next minute he's something else and something else, and the animation changes from what is the real world to the imagination world, so we do get to see really retro out of their animation when he's imagining things. In fact, sometimes I thought I was tripping out with some of the imagination. Then you get the more normal sort of animation for the rest of the movie, where it's telling the actual story. The movie itself is very hard to follow, in my opinion. I mean, kids are just gonna love it. It's aimed at kids. There's a few jokes what adults would get, but most of the time the jokes are completely aimed at kids. Well, why not? It's a kids movie, and kids are just gonna laugh, ah, baby, and that sort of thing. We don't get too many layers. I mean, DreamWorks bordered this movie, and I was expecting a little bit more, something like we got with Shrek, where you actually get layers. Layers, remember when Shrek said that? Layers. But here we don't really. It's solely 100% aimed at kids, and the kids are going to love it. I mean, when I went to see it, the cinema was full, and I'd say it was 50-50 families and just couples on dates. It is a movie that kind of does appeal to everybody else, not just kids, but no, it is just for kids. I will not be wanting to watch this again anytime soon, ever. So talking about strange things happened in the movie, we've got magical puppies that never age, we've got the worst airport security in history, where a baby and a 7-year-old can sneak on a plane dressed as an adult, and we get a lot of things that just don't make sense. But as I mentioned, this is purely aimed at kids, and kids aren't going to care about these things because they're just going to be wowed by what's on screen. And one of the things I will praise the movie for is it does give us a message, and that message is kids that are an only child, and maybe in that sort of age range, 6-7 years old, and they're going to have a brother or sister, they're going to have a sibling, the parents are pregnant. It does show them that they won't lose all of the attention, and that's one of the fears that they will have at that age. They might lose the attention of the parents, and all the focus will be on the baby. Well, the baby is going to get attention, but this movie teaches us that they won't lose any love or any attention at all. And one of the things I particularly did like about the movie is that the bond between the baby and the older brother, it does grow, and towards the end of the movie things happen. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it gives us a reassuring message. But one thing I will say is this movie is for kids. I've mentioned that a couple of times already, and the kids are going to like it, but the adults are probably going to be bored. They can probably take something away from how good the animation is, but it's not for the adults. This isn't one for us adults at all. So the first half of the movie is pretty slow going. It's quite painful in places. The second half of the movie does pick up a little bit, although as I've said, very out there, and does make you think what the hell's going on. It's a pretty confusing movie, if I'm honest. The music, however, is absolutely fantastic. We get a lot of music, mainly I think from the 70s, and the music is pretty damn cool in the movie. Alec Baldwin is a definite high for the movie, and I'm going to give The Boss Baby 2 out of 5. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button for me. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And let me know down below whether you've watched The Boss Baby, what you thought of it, and whether you would watch it again. I'll see you next time for another review. Hopefully not something this painful. Bye.